So gonna start off. A lot of this is going to be about mindset, but more importantly, how to apply mindset. Because think about mindset, everyone's like mindset, discipline, discipline. I want you to write this down. Okay. This quote was life changing for me once I really understood what it meant. Okay. Discipline is merely a short sprint. Okay. Just long enough for habit to come along and take its place. Okay. Discipline is merely a short sprint that just lasts long enough until habit comes along and takes its place. Now, what does that mean? It means that if you don't have the right habits, you need to build the right habits. And the only way to build the right habits is you need to start with discipline. Now, what's discipline? When you guys think about discipline, what do you think about? Like Lucas, what does discipline mean to you?
It could mean a number of things. I think, setting a structure, whether it be personally in your personal life or business wise, like setting time blocks, knowing, okay, I'm going to take care of myself during these 2 hours. I'm going to train physically, or I'm going to block off these 2 hours. I'm going to do prospect calls, and setting that habit or that structure in your schedule and sticking to it.
Yeah. And remember, discipline is only a short race that lasts long enough for habit to come along and take its place, which means the longer you're disciplined for, the easier it becomes. To give you an example of that, let's say I've been eating McDonald's and pizza every day for a year. Okay. Now, do you think it's going to be hard for me to come in and all of a sudden start dieting and eating like chicken and vegetables and healthy things? It's going to be way more difficult to do it if I've gone a long period of eating crap food. Now, if I've gone a long period now of eating healthy food and I feel good and I look good, do you not think it's going to be easier for me to just kind of continue that? So discipline is short. It's not super short. It typically takes about 30 or so days, 23 days, they call it, for a habit to be formed. Okay. So one of the things I'm going to be showing you guys, and I'm just kind of giving you guys an overview of what I'm going to be going over is a habit tracker. So some of you in here, some of you on my team, I know that you already use one. And some of you maybe have no idea what that is. So that, and I mean, this presentation essentially is on some of the things that changed my life in business and personally as well. So sometimes, like when we're not feeling good and we're not producing, it's because we haven't found our rhythm. Your rhythm dictates your life. What you do when you wake up, how you wake up, your morning routine, going to the gym, doing your prospecting calls. That is your rhythm. Now, if you fall out of your rhythm, you need to get back into your rhythm. And it's easier said than done, because once you're in a bad rhythm or in no rhythm at all, and you're just kind of handling every day as it comes, and there's no plan, then you're doing yourself a huge disservice. Okay. So habit tracker is one of them that we're going to cover. I'm just going to share my screen here.
Steve, just to add to what you were saying, something that I learned in our coaching was, like, for me, discipline is like the opposite of making excuses. And obviously the habit tracker helped me a lot with that. But for me, it was like, I know that in my most comfortable state, I'll make an excuse to not do what needs to be done. But the opposite would be having the discipline and fighting that excuse.
No, 100%. 100%. you know, sometimes it takes somebody to give you a push, or sometimes it takes like, I don't want to use the word rock bottom, but sometimes you're so disgusted with your habits where you're like, let's start fresh. Okay. But you don't need to get there to start it. You just need a system. So there's a system for discipline and there's a system for habits. And there's some that are, and I'm going to talk, and if you can see my screen here, we have the daily habits tracking log. Okay. That's going to help build your habits. I have been using this daily habits tracking log for the last, I want to say 14 years. Okay. That's how you build habits. Now, it goes deeper than that. I'm going to like peel back the layers. It doesn't start with the habit tracker. It starts with this middle one that's called the vision statement. Okay. Now, does anybody know what a vision statement is? Has anybody here read the book Think and Grow Rich? Speak out.
Yes.
Anyone else?
No.
Okay. If you haven't read that book, you have to read that book. I've read that book 4 times. I should probably read it a 5th time. And if you really find a good book, instead of reading 100 books once, you're better off reading 5 books 100 times.
Is it
That's
Think
just
and
another
Grow
little.
Rich?
Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. It was written in 1938. And it was the original law of attraction, if you want to call it that, because that's what they've coined it now. But this guy came up with this idea in 1938. And what he did was he went around and he interviewed some of the most iconic, successful entrepreneurs in the world, including like Henry Ford, a whole bunch of big names from way back in the day. And he wanted to see what they were doing differently than what we were doing. And he made a chapter about a whole bunch of different things like faith, desire. But there was one chapter that really stood out for me back in the day. And it was called the mission statement. So the mission, I call it the vision statement, mission statement, same thing. Okay. It's a statement. And this is where the discipline and habits begin. Okay. Because if you don't know why you're doing the habits in the first place, then you're not going to really want to do them.
Well,
You know what I mean? Like,
she's
if you don't have a why and you don't have a purpose and you don't know why you're doing it and you don't know what you're going to do to get it and you don't even know what you want, then you're not going to do it, or it's going to be harder to do it. So everything starts with purpose. I would write that down. Everything starts with purpose. Before you even go and fill out what your habits are going to be, before you figure out how many dials you're going to make, how many conversations you're going to have, how many appointments you're going to book, how many appointments you're going to go on, how many agreements you're going to sign, how many deals you're going to do from those agreements. You need to know why you're doing it. Okay. So the vision statement, let's start with that, because this is what you're going to start with. Now, I brought something really interesting with me. So this right here, there's about, I don't know, 14 or so pages here. This dates back to, and I kept all the originals. This was my first one. I signed it January 29th, 2014. I don't know if you can see that. It's kind of hard to see. And I signed it 2014. This was my first statement of desire, first vision statement, first mission statement, around when I read the book 10 years ago. And this was actually 11 years ago, sorry, because we're about to hit 2025, which is freaking crazy. So I've been in real estate 11 years. This was like when I started real estate. So I read the book, and I'm going to read out the statement of desire. And 11 years ago, what I wrote. So I wrote the exact amount of, and I put money, because at the time, that's what I wanted. I wanted money. Nothing wrong with that. The exact amount of money I desire is to make $150,000 this year. I intend to give back by sharing the knowledge which I have acquired throughout my sales career to anyone willing and wanting to receive it. I will also share the secrets of the law of success to the world and mentor people ready to accept it as I have been mentored. So at the time I had somebody helping me, you know, whatever he told me, I'm going to share it now. Okay. And I'm going to explain to you why that's important in a sec. I intend to possess this money by January 29th, 2015. So in 1 year from now, exactly, in the next year, I'm going to make $150,000. So amount, what I want needs to be written down. What is your desire? It can be anything. Your desire could be to build 5 churches in, I don't know, Sri Lanka. It can be anything. It can be money. It could be, I plan to get married in the next year. It could be whatever you want it to be. But let's focus on, for this conversation, money, since we're in real estate and we're looking to do sales, right? So I set what? An amount. I set 2, a date of when I will acquire that amount. I set a timeline, because now I'm on a timeline. Okay, let me continue. My plan of action. So at the time I was working at this time I was part-time real estate. So I wasn't even full-time real estate yet. This is how long ago this is. I intend to possess this money by January 20th, 2015. My plan of action is to continue to work hard at certified labs, which is where I was working while I was in real estate, until I have $15,000 in cash or 8 real estate deals done. Once this is completed, I will move into real estate full-time and sell enough properties to gross $150,000 in commissions. I will also read this statement every night before bed and every morning when I wake up. I will rise with a desire to make the most out of every day, no matter what is happening in my life, because my success means everything. Signed, Steve Alexopoulos, January 29th, 2014. So when I read this, I get like, I feel something, you know what I mean? So I had faith back then to do this, but this is what it started with. Now, all these other sheets here, so that was 2014, this one's another one I did in 2014, 2015, I was doing 2 a year, 2016, 2016 again, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. This is my current one, 2024. So I'm not doing this to brag. You know, I like to think I've done pretty well in real estate, and I can promise you, guarantee you, if I didn't do this, I would not be where I am, not even close to where I've, ended up, or whatever you want to call it. Okay. But I was very, very clear on what I wanted to do. Now, if you're not clear on what exactly you want to do, that's okay. Because now you can formulate one of these. And once you formulate one of these, you need to really sit down alone and really think about 4 things. So I want you to write these 4 things down. What is my chief definite aim? Okay. Chief definite aim. What is it? Is it to sell 20 deals in a year? 30, 15, 10, 40? Is it to gross 100,000, 150,000, 200,000, 300? What do you want to accomplish? If it's not about money, then do something else about it. Make it about something else. You can use this for anything in life. So 1, and I wish I wrote this down, but I didn't have time, but I'll let you guys write it down, because if you guys write it down, it's going to be more powerful. So write down, what is my chief definite aim? Second one, when will I achieve this by? Time. Super important, because you need a timeline. You need a timeline, okay? So I like to do 1 year out, keeps things nice and simple. You can do one in 6 months. You can do one for a month and then write a new one next month, as long as you have a timeline attached to it. Because if you don't have a timeline attached to it, what happens? You procrastinate. This is like a freaking exam. This is like handing in an assignment. Why do they give you due dates? Because if they don't give you a due date, you're never going to do it, right? So when do you want to achieve this goal by? Third thing, another very important one. What am I willing to do to achieve this? What am I willing to do to achieve this? For anyone that just came on, the first one, chief definite aim. What am I looking to achieve? 2, when am I looking to achieve it by? Time. 3, what am I willing to do to receive this? Because you're receiving it from a greater power, whatever you want to call it. You know, it can be God, it can be whatever you believe in. You're receiving this from, because you're giving. When you give, you receive, right? Nothing comes with no cost. There needs to be something given to receive something in all aspects of life, right? So 3, what am I willing to do to receive this? And 4th one, which is maybe the most important one, is what am I willing to give back? So if you notice, even in 2014, what I was willing to give back was whatever I learn in real estate or business or life, I'm willing to share that knowledge with whoever is willing to receive it. You guys are all on here right now. You're willing to receive it, right? And what I said 11 years ago is coming to fruition, because now you guys are wanting to listen to what I did. But there was a time where, you know, I wanted to listen to what other people had done, and in turn, I'll share that eventually with people. And I'm still trying to learn more, because the more I can learn, the more I can give. So Michelle, tell me the 4 things in the mission statement.
Number 1, what is my chief definite aim? Number 2, when will I achieve this by? So a timeline. Number 3, what am I willing to do to achieve or receive this? And number 4, what am I willing to give back?
Perfect. So my goals now are much different than they were in 2013, 2014. Okay. But what I'm willing to give back is still the same, is my knowledge. Okay. I would write this down. In order to keep something, you need to be willing to give it away. Think about that. In order to keep something, you need to be willing to give it away. That's deep, right? Because if you want to just hold on to everything selfishly, somebody's going to take it away from you. Okay? It's just the way the universe works. So I'm going to go over that one more time because I want you guys to use it. The mission statement. 1, what is my definite chief aim? Write it down. 2, and let's give an example. My definite chief aim is to sell 30 homes this year. I will accomplish this by, what's the date today? August 1st. August 1st, 2025. I am willing to wake up every day, and I'm giving you just a baseline example. In fact, how about I read to you the 2025, just so you see how it evolved slightly over that 1 year. Next year, so I achieved my goal. Next year, the exact amount of money I intend to acquire is $200,000 this year. This is 2015 now, okay? I wake up every morning with the goal of being the best I can be. I'm on a constant pursuit of personal growth, and I will always better myself. I have a life of abundance financially, spiritually, and with family and friends. I intend to acquire this money by January 1st, 2016. So I wrote this in January of 2015. My plan of action is to close 30 real estate transactions by that time, and I will become Rookie of the Year. Guess what happened that year? I became Rookie of the Year. I intend to give back by making sure I wake up every morning with faith and determination to succeed. I will share all my secrets of success to anyone who is willing to receive the secrets. I will continue to set new goals and I will crush them. Eventually, I will have a team. I didn't have a team at this time. Eventually, I will have a team. Eventually, I will have a team and I will be one step closer to living the life of my dreams. I will do whatever it takes to reach this goal and make the most out of every day, no matter what is happening in my life, because my success means everything. That was the year after. And then every one of those things, guess what, came to fruition. Why? Because I read it every single morning and every single night before I go to bed. It got embedded into my subconscious mind. So I started doing these things without me even realizing why I was doing them, because they were being, like, when something gets embedded into your subconscious mind, you start creating actions to essentially make those things happen without you being conscious about it. So next thing you know, I'm waking up, I'm doing 20 contacts a day, okay? And I'm like, where's all this energy coming from? And it's because I was reading this statement every morning and every night before bed. So that's the power of the mission statement. So for you guys, I'll just give you an example. And there's one more thing I kind of forgot to add in that. So there's I missed a big one here. My definite chief aim, what I want to achieve, what I'm willing to do to achieve it. I'm willing to make 20 dials every single day until this day. But I forgot the most important one. Why? Why? I can't believe I forgot it, but I'm telling you now. So it's really what you want to achieve, why you want to achieve it. So for me, it took me a year to figure out. If you noticed, in 2014, I didn't have a why. I needed to figure it out. And then I figured it out a year later. And my why became, at the time, was I want to be on a constant pursuit of personal growth so that one day I can help other people achieve their own personal growth as well. And I tied that into what I'm willing to give back. So mission statement, statement of desire, what you want, when you're going to achieve it by, what you're willing to do for it, why you want to achieve it, and what you're willing to give back. Those are the points. I promise you, and again, I've been doing this every single year for the last 11 years. I promise you, and just try it. If you don't believe me, give it a shot. What's the worst that can happen? Write out a mission statement. It might take you 30 minutes. It might take you an hour. It might take you a day because you really got to think about it hard overnight. Write it down. If you want extra reference, just Google Think and Grow Rich, the mission statement. It'll talk to you all about that. Or buy the book and just read that chapter. I would suggest you read the whole book, but just read that one chapter and see what it really is about, because it gets even deeper than what I'm talking about. Read it every night before you go to bed and every morning when you wake up. Try it for 1 month and see what happens. Now, things in your life can always change, unexpected events come up and things can derail you. But just try it. Try doing this for 1 month. And I promise you, there will be massive changes that will happen. The universe will reward you, and you're not even going to know why it's happening. And the reason you're not going to know why is because it's not conscious anymore. When you read things before bed or in the morning, it gets embedded into your subconscious, especially before bed. I got to the point now I'm just reading it in the morning. I should go back to reading it before bed, but read it before bed, read it in the morning. Does anybody have any questions on that?
I like it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to
Nice.
do it. If I have any questions, I'll give you a nudge. But no, that was great.
Yeah,
Thank
for
you.
sure. So I'm telling you, if anyone's like, how do you become successful? Well, that's step one. It's funny how nobody really talks about this stuff. But these are the secrets of the highly successful. They know what they want. If you don't know what you want, you're going to go through life, kind of blindly. But it's not even just about knowing what you want. It's really important to remind yourself what you want every day, twice a day. Yeah, I know what I want, but you forget. But if you remind yourself every single day, you're not forgetting. You remind yourself every day, you won't forget, I promise you. Okay. I'm going to back off the mission statement. Do the mission statement. That's number one. Number two, daily habits tracking log. Now, I wonder if I can zoom in here. Can everyone see this daily habits tracking log?
No, I can't see it. It was up before though.
Okay. Yeah, let me share. Oh, I forgot to share my screen. Okay, can
There
you
you
see it
go.
now?
Yeah.
Okay. Once you have the mission statement completed, here's the next action part. So this is where it gets cool. This is how it works. You need to start with the law of attraction part, the attraction part. You're attracting these things into your life by embedding it into your subconscious mind. That's the attraction part. Now it's time for it starts with an A. Guess what it is?
Action.
Attraction part. Action part. So if you want to be a champion, now the problem with people all the time is that they focus solely on the attraction part. But they forget that you still need to produce the activity. You need both of them. If you want the two biggest champion books that you can read back to back, I would read one, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, talks about the law of attraction. And then the second one I would read is the 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. And he states that that is the law of action. Because it really is, if you read the book, like the more, I mean, I haven't read it for a while now, but it talks about the laws of action. There are laws of action and there's laws of attraction. If you know those laws, you're unstoppable.
So sorry,
Because
excuse me, sorry. What's the second one? Yeah.
the second one is the law of action. It's the book is called The 10X Rule by Grant Cardone.
Annex. Grand. All right, thanks.
So on my calendar here, I have a daily habits action plan. Now, what's on it? Whatever you want. But I'm going to give you guys, so now you've done the mission statement. You're reading it every night, you're reading it every morning. What's on the mission statement? One of them is what you need to do to become successful. So in this case, let's just give an example. I want to do 10 conversations a day. That's my one thing, which is another book you should read, The One Thing by Gary Keller. So the one thing for me that I figured out that I needed to do was to do 10 conversations a day, not dials, conversations. Now, why is conversations more important than dials? Because I could do 30 dials and get 2 conversations. Those dials mean nothing if nobody picked up. I need to be having conversations about real estate with people or business with people. And if whoever's on this, I know there's a few of you on here that aren't even in real estate, but you're in sales. You need, I don't care what you're selling, you need to have conversations with people. Now, those conversations could be online, they could be, there needs to be some method of contact, no matter what. So people are really hung up on leads. But what happens if you never have an interaction with those leads? Are they really a lead? They're not. They never existed. The lead only exists once you talk to them and gain their timing, motivation. Before, until that happens, it's nothing. There's nothing that exists. So real estate is such a simple business because all you need to do is generate leads and talk to the leads. And when you talk to the leads, you find out their timing and motivation, set up an appointment, you do a presentation, you sign an agreement, and you get a sale. That's real estate. Now, you can really try and look at all the fluff behind it, but really that's what it comes down to. Why do you do social media posts? Yeah, branding's important, but you're trying to get somebody to message you back so that you can have a business conversation with them. It all boils down to conversations, nothing else. You really got to figure that out. Because if you start thinking about too many things, you're going to become a jack of all trades and a master of none. Focus on one thing and do that one thing really, really well. Because I can guarantee you, if you can have 10 conversations about real estate every single day, your business will explode to the point that you're not going to know what to do with these contacts. You're going to be like, this is too much. If you're actually having 10 conversations a day, your calendar will get full eventually. Promise you. So what did I do? I figured that out. I'm like, all I need to do is talk to people about real estate. It's easy. FSBOs, expireds, internet generated leads. I don't care. I want to talk to people about real estate. I had a script. Or it's really, the script isn't as important as the actual conversation. So this daily habits tracking log was to do one thing and one thing only. Get me prepared mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually so that I have the energy to make these conversations. Why is that important? Because sitting down, getting on the phone, and starting to call people you maybe have never talked to before is not easy. It's simple, but it's not easy. So you need to be sharp and you need to be prepared. So how did I prepare myself? I'll read out some of the habits that I have. So you write down the habit right here. If you can, I don't know if you can see my cursor. So the first one I have, out of bed 7 a.m. Not wake up at 7 a.m. Out of bed at 7 a.m. Okay, simple. I did it. Check mark. Awesome. Second one, make bed. Sounds ridiculous. Make the bed. Why am I making my bed? Does anybody know why? Like it seems simple, but why? Go ahead.
If you've read the book, Make Your Bed, it's basically the first thing that you do, and it makes you feel accomplished that you've completed a task, even though it's a minimal task. It makes you feel good for the rest of the day, and you know your bed's made.
Yeah. Yeah. What it really is it's a small win. It's like you said, it's a simple task, but you've completed it. So you're building up your confidence to now get to a bigger task. That's why people work out. That's why people shower, get ready. These are all like little tasks that help prepare you for bigger tasks ahead. So make bed. Number 3, morning routine. I'll share my morning routine quickly with you. I've shared it before. I do a quick exercise, usually 20 minutes of cardio. I'm not going to, I mean, you can go to the gym, you can do whatever you want if you have the time. I like to go to the gym later on usually. I mean, if you have kids, you might not be able to, but some form of exercise. Why? Because you want to stimulate, the body has different types of, and this sounds like, it's like, people are like, oh, he's talking about energy. But listen, there's different energy in the body. There's physical energy, mental energy, spiritual energy. You want to be able to facilitate all of them. So you want to warm them up. So how do I warm up the physical energy? I exercise. Then what do? I read my mission statement. What is that? That's my mental energy. It's my goals. It's my vision. It's my dreams. I stimulate that. I remind myself again in the morning. So now my mind's working. You can read. Reading's good. Something that requires mental acuity, mental focus to warm up your mental energy. The third thing is I pray. And this isn't something I'm telling you to do. But I do it, stimulate my spiritual energy, give thanks, give gratitude, and all those nice things. Right? So I do that. Now I got my spiritual energy working, my mental energy working, my physical energy working. Now, and I also have a gratitude statement I read as well, which I find really helps for just overall happiness. Okay. Last one, then I got at office by 9:30 a.m. So I want to be at the office by 9:30. Then I have 5 contacts. Now, there was a time I was doing 20. Now I'm doing 5. You can do 10. You can do 15. You can do 1,000, whatever you want. but do it. Know that you have to do it. That's the most important one. All these other things I'm doing is to prepare me for this. It's my one thing that I know will create success. I don't think it will create success. I know it will create success. So 5 contacts, 10 contacts. And then beside the box, instead of doing a check mark, I write in how many contacts I made that day. Now, if I see somebody's habit tracker and they have like 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, the whole month, I don't need to ask them if they had a good month. I know they had a good month. Some days you'll maybe get 0 appointments. Some days you'll get 2. Then you might get 0. Then you'll get 1. But it adds up. It's a numbers game. Sales is a numbers game. I know you don't want to hear that, but it is. I've talked to thousands upon thousands on thousands of people. That's the only reason the reason that I've had any form of success is I talk to a lot of people over my time on the phone, a lot of people, and I've done it consistently. Now, the reason not everybody becomes super successful is because not everybody is willing to do the tasks that it takes to gain that kind of success. Because if it was easy, everybody would be doing it.
It was so tasty.
The lettuce?
Yeah, they grilled on lettuce.
Oh, cool.
Hey, Paul, you need some lettuce?
Shit that we get from the grocery.
Oh, am I not on mute? Sorry about that.
It's okay. So yeah, if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. But you got to ask yourself, like, do I want to be like everybody else, or do I want to stand out? And if you want to stand out, you got to be willing to do the things that are tough that not everybody can do. How many % of real estate agents you actually think are making 5 to 10 conversations every single day? 3%, maybe 4%, maybe 5, maybe. And why do you think 10% of the people are doing almost 90% of the deals? It's because of that. It's not a secret. There's no secret. It's the work. But to make this work easier, you need a structured system. And the system is the mission statement and the daily habits track and log. You can master those 2 things. I promise you, you're going to be extremely successful. And then what do I have after the 5 contacts? In bed by 11:30 p.m. In bed by 11:30 p.m. Now, it's more important to set your bedtime than it is to set your wake up time. Because if you go to bed at a reasonable time, you're going to wake up at a reasonable time. So don't focus on what time you're going to wake up. Focus on what time you're going to go to bed. It's above and beyond what time you wake up. So, does anybody have questions on the habit tracker? Now, are you wondering where to get the habit tracker? You can find them anywhere. If you want, send me a message. I'll give you one. Or you can, they have online ones where you can download an app. I have a habit tracker app. I tried using the app. I'm more of a writing down old school kind of guy. So that's what I use, but it's a personal preference. So I'm going to give you guys a little rundown. Okay. I'm giving you the secret of success. I'm giving it to you. Here you go. Mission statement. My definite chief aim is to do 20 deals. What am I, or what, by what date? I will achieve this by 1 year from now. I am willing to do 10 contacts a day, every single day, no matter what. My success is more important to me than anything. I promise I will do this. Number 4, definite purpose. Why? I am doing this so that I can learn as much about real estate as possible so I can share it with other people one day. Or I am doing this, if you want to get deep, for your children. If you got kids, you're doing it for your kids. You can get as deep as you want with this. You know, if you want to raise money for charities, you know, let's say you have somebody that passed away from something, you want to raise money for charity. That gets even deeper. The deeper the reason, the more likely the action. The deeper the reason, the more likely the action. When people do life-changing things, they usually have a deep reason that they want to do it. People that have changed the world, they've had deep, deep reasons, and it's caused them to create massive amounts of activity. Okay, so that's your why and what you're willing to give back. Write that out, 1 page, sign it, date it, read it every night and every morning before you wake up, or when you wake up. Try it. I challenge you. Okay. Second thing, get the habit tracker. Write down all the habits necessary for you to achieve these goals. Write them down. Check them off as the days go. Once you start seeing a lot of check marks, you're going to start seeing your life change. And then you're going to go to bed, you're going to read the mission statement. Then when it wakes up, and then you're going to look at the habit tracker. This is the system of success. Now, I was going to get into one more, but I won't go into too much detail because we're running out of time. I got a meeting. All it really is you need some type of system where you can track your conversations, your appointments, your appointments gone on, agreements signed, and deals done. You need to track this stuff on a regular basis. I mean, that's a whole other training that I can do, but I wanted to get a bit deeper with this one. So mission statement, habit tracker, get those things done. Promise you it will change your life. Promise. As long as you do it, it's one thing to write it down. It's another thing to actually put it into activity and action. Does anybody have any questions?
Steve, what are some ways that we can stay accountable to make sure that we're doing them? Because like I've had this issue in the past too, but like what are some ways that we can stay accountable to make sure that we're getting them done, or if you know what I mean?
That's a very good question. It's because you know what, like if there's one thing I've learned is doing anything alone is much harder than doing it with somebody. Which brings me to the point of you can either A, get an accountability coach, or B, get an accountability partner. All you guys know people, whether you're on a team or other real estate agents, call one of them up. Be like, hey, listen, I'm looking to take my success to another level. I'm dedicated, I'm determined. I'm looking for other determined people that can share this mission with me and go on it with me and become extremely successful as well. I'm looking for an accountability partner, somebody that will hold me accountable to the calls I make, my habit tracker. And, you know, I'd like to know if you want to go on this journey with me. So you need help sometimes. You know, you can't get successful just on your own. I mean, you can, but you can only go so far by yourself. You need people to help you. But in turn, you're going to help them. So accountability partners, coaches, man, this stuff is really important. Really, really important. And it's especially important once you get off track. Like if you're off track, you got to find somebody to help. And there's no trouble asking for help because you're going to be helping them as well. It's all about taking and giving, right? That's the law of the universe. You can't get something for nothing. You know, there's sacrifices that need to be made. Doing these dials, putting all this time into, you know, becoming successful, like you need to sacrifice something. That could be drinking. I remember on my habit tracker for many, many times, it would be no drinking because I was drinking too much. And guess what? When you're drinking too much, you think you're really going to want to wake up and do calls? Like, let's say you go out on a Saturday night, you get totally plastered. You think Monday you're going to be super motivated to wake up at 9 a.m. and start making calls to a bunch of strangers you've never talked to that may hang up on you? Probably not. So if you, and one thing I forgot to add is the habit tracker isn't only for good habits. It's to eliminate bad habits. Let's say you want to quit smoking. You want to do it one day at a time. No smoking. Check mark, check mark, check mark, check mark. You can watch your progression. You want to stop drinking? Check mark, check mark, check mark, check mark. No drinking, check mark, check mark, check mark. Next thing you know, you've gone 30 days, no drinking. You're like, holy shit, I don't even want to drink anymore. I feel great. Or let's say you're not going to the gym enough. Gym, check mark, check mark, check mark, check mark, check mark, check mark. But you get caught up in your own busy life all the time where you forget about these things. You get so busy, but if you can remind yourself every morning, you won't forget. But you need the system in place so that you don't forget. And what I'm giving you guys is the system. Anything else? I'll ask for you guys, if you guys can take, you know, take a pic, screenshots when I'm doing these trainings, share it, and tag me. Come to our events and, you know, just, you know, we're all in this together, you know, we're here to help each other. Nobody got really successful by themselves. So everyone's here to help. And that's it. That's all I got, guys. Go out and help somebody and you'll get something in return. All right.
Thank you.
Peace.
Thank you.
Hopefully you guys got something out of that.
Thanks,
Thank
Steve.
you.
Thanks, man. That was
Bye,
good.
guys.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank
Cheers.
you.
Thank you, guys.